So, hello everyone. I'll be your host for today, and my name is Alok Ranjan. I'm one of the co-founders of Walking Tree, and I'm absolutely excited to host you. Specifically, AI agents is definitely one of the topics that I'm excited about. Everybody is excited about, and today, what excites me more is that we'll be talking about evaluation and observability, which is very dear in terms of getting the right level of credibility and trust associated with agents. Uh, Today we'll be joined by speakers like Scott Seabolt. He's our CTO and partner in Walking Tree. Uh, Apart from AI, generative AI, of course, he brings in tons of knowledge around the overall software development and architecture. Abhilasha is a senior solution architect, and she will be leading also generative AI practices giving us a good walkthrough of a couple of real world applications that she is working with, and she has been using Confident AI to kind of evaluate and observe some of the metrics. As part of the today's webinar, the key takeaways that I can see is, of course, we will understand the importance of evaluation and observability in agentic AI, and specifically, like when we look at agentic AI, reliability and compliance and overall user satisfaction is extremely crucial. And we'll over the period we'll learn how observability and evaluation will help us achieve these goals. Of course, there are several tools that can help you achieve that. We have evaluated few of them, and so far we liked Confident AI a lot. And that's where we decided to partner with Confident AI and use this tool in our own solutions. And of course, as part of that, we thought we will share knowledge with the industry as well, and hence this webinar. As part of this, Abhilasha will be talking about a use case specifically around financial advisory that she's excited about. And then hopefully towards the end, we'll have questions, and we'll be happy to take up those questions and answer them. We'll also take this opportunity to quickly introduce you guys to Walking Tree, the company that I represent. So Walking Tree is primarily a technology-focused IT services company. We, of course, have certain interests in certain domains, but then we are generally domain agnostic company. We focus a lot on digital and data services. And at digital and data services, we provide full stack services, which includes somebody having just an idea and then we taking care of their entire journey, including providing the required strategy to make sure that they are able to get their job done, achieve their customer experience very nicely. We are a little over 280 plus people team. We have been in existence for more than 16 years. We have offices in India, US, and Dubai. And we, of course, have team members who we are excited about. They are from some of the top schools. And as a business, as I said, like we're heavily focused on technology. And as part of that, again, we look at what the customer needs, and then from there we start. And in that journey, we help customers build, say, it could be simple web application, mobile applications, it could be SaaS products, it could be platforms, or it could be helping them with end-to-end product engineering services. Naturally, all these things require certain infrastructure, so we do make use of different clouds. We are heavily using data for our data-driven engineering, also data-driven decisions. And as part of that, we make use of cloud native as well as open source data technologies. And we have huge focus on automation. As part of that, we offer DevOps and SRE as a separate service, AI augmented quality engineering as a separate service. And then on the right side, you will be saying that we provide full-fledged AI ML service to our customers. We are heavily invested in generative AI. In fact, we have been serving customers on generative AI for the last 4 years or so. So that has definitely given us a lot of comfort to help customers visualize the right use cases and help them with POCs, and then eventually take them through the MVP and productionization. In addition to AI, ML, and generative AI, we are also super excited about helping customers with simulation services. Specifically, we make use of simulation services for generating synthetic data by creating the virtual environment for the physical environments. And then within that, we create the needed synthetic data to train robots or drones, or it could be anything. And you can have several use cases like asset inspection or various other use cases. Unreal Engine is the tool that we use there, typically used for gaming, but then we use that for non-gaming enterprise use cases. As a business, we have a very flexible engagement model. We work in a managed project. We work and take the specific projects, as well as we work with teams as an extended team or outsourced product development team, or even take care of the build, operate, and transfer and fractional CIO part. This is a quick introduction about Walking Tree. What I will do is I'll hand it over to Scott to kind of give you a deep dive into the agentic AI, further talk about evaluation and observability. But then before we do that, what I also want to emphasize that we have a Q&A box where you can write your questions. We'll be very, very excited to answer those questions. And after the webinar, of course, everybody will receive the recording. So focus on understanding the discussions that we are having, and we'll be super excited to see you guys making a better understanding of observability and evaluations around agentic AI. Scott, over to you.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Alok. And again, welcome everyone. What I'll try to do is kind of set the stage for things a little bit and talk kind of in terms of AI workflows, autonomous agents, and then kind of work towards the enterprise grade agents and kind of talk about the different facets of those three. And then we'll spend just briefly on that, and then we'll spend a good bit of time then in observability and evaluation, which is why really this whole concept of even using confident AI is so good, is because it's a great tool for just those purposes. So I'll try to set the stage up and tee it off for us to talk about confident AI, and we'll go from there. So just kind of very briefly in terms of looking at key concepts in AI-powered automation. I'm going to highlight three of those, right? AI workflows. AI workflows are like predefined execution paths for automation. Then you have autonomous agents, where systems. That's where systems AI is dynamically deciding how to accomplish different tasks. And then when we start talking in terms of what the distinctives are between those two and enterprise grade agents, autonomous agents that we call enterprise grade agents, those agents have enhanced security, observability, evaluation, and right. So these different trust mechanisms that are needed for a more enterprise grade agent. So I'll just briefly mention those because I really want to get to talking about observability and evaluation. So when we look at observability, I like to just kind of define, what is observability, right? And when we talk about that, as you can see on the slide, the ability to monitor, understand, and analyze the internal state of a system based on its external outputs. So kind of that's a fundamental concept, is to know that, hey, it is the ability to monitor and understand, and then be able to analyze whatever the internal state is of the system, and and its external outputs, of course. So the results of whatever it is. Then let's talk about the role in agentic solutions. So when we talk in AI, driven workflows and autonomous agents, observability really ensures that the visibility into system behavior, performance, and health, this is crucial for debugging, for optimizing the workflows, and really ensuring that the AI decisions are interpretable, right? And then, the other part of that definition for observability, I would say, is proactive issue detection too. So the goal of observability is not just for monitoring, but it's also to proactively detect anomalies, right? By constantly tracking that system behavior, it helps to optimize the functionality and improve the user experience. So we're always monitoring, not just monitoring, like I said, but being able to proactively look at things and determine, hey, something's about to happen before the user even knows that it's about to happen, right? So that's why observability is really so important. And then just briefly, when we talk about why observability is essential in these agentic systems, let's briefly touch on these, right? And the first one is just it enhances transparency. So observability provides real-time insights into how the system operates, and that's really crucial for stakeholders or maybe compliance teams, engineers, and really those who need to trust the AI-driven decision. And you can imagine there's cases like finance and healthcare, for example, where you really need that visibility, and you start talking like compliancy and those type things too. Those things need to be really accurate and to make sure that everything is in compliance with whatever it could be, whatever standard is out there from, say, a finance or healthcare perspective. Those two hit me as really big ones, right? That you're concerned about accuracy and compliancy as well. And then the other really essential thing that observability provides us is it facilitates proactive issue resolution. So instead of reacting to failures after they happen, like I've talked a little bit about before, right? Observability helps detect and resolve issues before they really impact users. And then observability also, it supports continuous improvement. So AI-driven systems, they evolve over time, right? So they require constant refinement. So it's rare that you will deploy a solution and you're getting 100% accuracy, right? So it takes time to build up to a really good percentage. So observability is really important in that, because we always need to be evolving the solution over time. So constant refinement. And that's going to help, developers, for example, get valuable performance data. Then they can refine, enhance the system reliability. And then, I think a big one too is just it improves the user experience. So when we identify pain points and system bottlenecks, that observability ensures that we have smooth functionality, right? So it really leads to say faster response times, fewer errors, or even a more intuitive interaction. So you can kind of see how users observe how users are using the system and figure out what's working and what's not. So again, a major benefit or essential why it's essential to an agentic system. And then it enables scalability. So AI agents, they need to handle increasing workloads without performance degradation, right? And this observability allows us to do that. So observability monitors really how well the system adapts under different conditions. Okay, so just kind of in closing, observability, it's not just about monitoring logs. It's about really ensuring that AI agents remain transparent, that they're reliable, and that they're adaptable. So let's talk a little bit now about the other big concept we want to look at here, and that is around evaluation. So let's take a similar approach we did with observability, and let's just kind of define it, right? So what is evaluation? And kind of by definition here, I would say it's a systematic process to assess the design, the implementation, and outcomes of a solution. Very important, all three of those aspects. So it's not just about checking if something works, but it's also about measuring impact and the effectiveness and alignment of those objectives. So why is evaluation important for an agentic system? Autonomous agents, for autonomous agents, it helps measure the effectiveness, the impact, the goal alignment, and really speaking of, key goals of evaluation, I would say there's three different things that I would highlight there, and that's it identifies areas for improvement. So, fine tuning models and workflows, And then there's ensuring accountability. So it provides transparency to all the stakeholders. And then, it validates the approach. So it confirms that the AI-driven methods are that they're accurate, that they're unbiased, that they're reliable. So it gives us all those things. And when we look at, again, kind of going over why this is essential for an agentic solution, evaluation is essential because it provides, number one, it provides goal alignment. So, all AI systems really should serve business objectives, right? Not just function in isolation, right? So you need to make sure that the business objective to whatever you're doing is being met. That's first of all. So it helps us align with goals. And then it also improves decision making. So AI solutions generate a lot of performance data, but without structured evaluation, that data is really underutilized. And systematic evaluation, it provides data-driven insights that help optimize your strategies and resource allocations. And then, another key aspect of evaluation in an agentic system is it measures the impact. So, AI agents, they often interact with customers, maybe employees or different systems, but how do we measure their success, right? And evaluation assesses whether AI is enhancing autonomy and improving efficiency, or is it not, right? So you have a way to do that. And as we talk about confident AI, that platform allows us to do that and gives us a good mechanism to allow for that. Then the other thing I'd talk about is supporting accountability. AI systems impact business decisions, customer interactions, compliancy requirements, like I spoke with, especially in areas like healthcare, for example, or finance. And then, transparent evaluation, it keeps all stakeholders informed, and it really ensures that, the AI is trustworthy and it's aligned to the organizational goals. And those are important things, right? We're not just using AI as a cool tool for something we can show off anymore. It's actually very useful now to our day-to-day workflow in measuring how our businesses are doing. And of course, being able to measure and being accountable for this AI system, it helps us develop trustworthiness that are aligned with those goals. And then I'll kind of close out on this slide with, the next thing, evaluation, why it's important is that it drives innovation. So evaluation is really not just about fixing problems, it's about highlighting successes as well. And that helps us in understanding, what works well, and that encourages, faster iterations and improvements, so we can go through and refine the whole process and improve the system more and more. And then I'll move on here a bit so we can start into our confident AI and just briefly mention some of the challenges. Won't spend a lot of time on these. Many of you probably have heard some of these before, but non-deterministic outputs. So in other words, an LLM, it's not always predictable what the output is, right? So it's important to understand that that's a challenge, and that we need tools to be able to, to limit that challenge or rein that challenge in, right? And the other thing is, subjective metrics, success metrics. We need to know and be able to be subjective about what's working and what isn't, right? And then lack of standard benchmarks. So unlike traditional AI models, so imagine things like classifiers, for example, like fixed data sets, like ImageNet or something of that nature. LLMs really lack that universal benchmark. So that's a challenge for us, and that's why we need tools like confident AI. And then, another challenge is the complexity of multi-dimensional evaluation. When we talk about that fancy word, multi-dimensional evaluation, sounds like outer space. But the reality is it's really evaluating. Evaluating LLMs, really requires multiple aspects to be evaluated simultaneously, right? So accuracy, relevance, coherence, factual consistency, ethically and ethicality and bias or other things. So having a nice tool to allow us to evaluate all those things at once is really valuable. And then, of course, bias detection and mitigation. So LLMs, anything, right, inherently is going to have some bias. So being able to look at those biases and really be able to have mitigations for those is crucial, and having a tool to look at that. Scalability and testing. again, is a challenge for LLMs. Won't go into that too deeply, but then limited explainability is another area, right? So LLMs tend to function as black boxes. So it kind of makes it hard to explain why they generated a particular response. So, and explainability is obviously crucial in things like regulated industries, like we've mentioned, healthcare and finance, for example. So those are crucial things that we have to overcome. And when we talk about challenges for LLMs, and again, edge case handling, you need to be able to, LLMs, can fail unpredictably, right? So you need to be able to produce edge cases where it's nonsensical, or maybe it's biased, or it's a harmful response, for example, hallucinations, that kind of thing. We need to be able to prevent those things. And then depending on human judgment, right? Even with automated evaluation tools, humans are still needed to assess the fluency, the coherence, and kind of the real world relevance to the output of the LLM. And then I'll wrap this up with saying also the last one I'll mention in LLMs is just the difficulty of measuring long-term impact. And LLMs influence behavior and business outcomes over time, and making it, like kind of a long-term evaluation kind of challenging. So the performance can actually degrade as language models or as language trends evolve, and new risks come up. So things change, right? So the LLM and being able to adapt to that's crucial. So those are some challenges from an LLM standpoint. And I'll wrap my section up here actually with. And Abhilasha, I may have you kind of come in on this one a little bit, but I'll give it a shot first, and then you can chime in as you feel you need to, or as needed. But let's talk about the role of structured evaluation frameworks. So standardization and evaluation is an example of evaluation in terms of being able to standardize the evaluation itself, right? So evaluation, it should be consistent across tasks and domains. That's going to ensure performance measurements and really meaningful and comparable, evaluation. So predefined metrics, they offer a set of objective criteria to measure AI against. Customization for use cases. So, while standardization is important, evaluation frameworks should also be adaptable to specific applications. And then handling variability. AI models often produce, like we talked about before, non-deterministic outputs. So meaning different responses can be invalid and can still be valid and correct, I should say. So another is automated testing. Automation reduces the need for manual evaluation. So, that makes it easier to conduct large scale assessments. So as you start to scale, that's very important. Iterative improvement. So AI models, again, they must continuously evolve and maintain performance as new data becomes available. And then just comparison across different models, right? We need to know how benchmarking models against others helps in selecting the most effective version. So it's not necessarily just a one size fits all. One model may be better than another for a certain application. And then let's wrap this one up, and I'll just say quickly, scalability and efficiency are important. And something that when we talk about structured evaluation frameworks, very important to know about scalability and efficiency, because AI models, they process huge amounts of data, right? So evaluation frameworks have to scale accordingly. So effective evaluation ensures that that performance assessments remain cost effective and computationally manageable. So as those models grow and more data, it's got to remain cost effective, and computationally, you have to be able to manage it, right? You have to be able to manage it with a certain amount of horsepower, I'll say, to be able to process that data. And then lastly, and I'll end this one, and we can talk about more about confident AI in detail. And that's really, to me, a very, very important one when we talk about not only about observability and evaluation, but that's to build confidence, right? And that's something as a service company we see a lot of is our customers want to be confident in what the AI is providing. So it's very important. So, a good structured evaluation framework provides structured insights into model reliability. So it helps those stakeholders feel more confident in those AI decisions. So with that, I'll stop talking, but that's kind of just the reason we spend time there is just to give you an idea of why observability and evaluation is so important, and why using a good tool to be able to look at both those is really crucial. So with that, I will turn it over. Abhilasha, you want to kind of take it from here?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Scott. I'll just start sharing my screen.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so as you mentioned rightly, Scott, like just being able to see and have a control of how your agent is performing builds that confidence on the application. Now, because there is always a iota of doubt, I would say, or that fear that it will not behave in the same way every time. So that's what makes the need for observability and evaluation as very like important aspects to take or to make any agent or any AI workflow uh, enterprise grade, right? So, and if we start like to make a great LLM evaluation, there are two main aspects: quality of the data which you are using and quality of the metrics you are defining. And again, there is a lot of variability here because of the type of problems you see in a LLM use case. It's not like a one size fits all problem. For the kind of data you would have to, like, the data set would vary. uh, of course, I mean, sometimes it becomes difficult to have that variability of data set, and how much data can you create manually. So that is like an important aspect of having control or having that flexibility to create variety in your data set so that you can have like an extensive testing. And second thing is being able to correctly, or you can say uniquely define metrics. Some may be like the common metrics where the behavior may be similar, but then some may be very specific metrics depending on the problem you're solving. So like a normal workflow would always, when you're trying to say, if even if you're starting with a POC to make it enterprise grade, this is the flow you would follow, where you would start by curating your data set, you would run your evaluations, you would view and decide what metrics are applicable. Again, view the performance, improve your data set further, and then keep executing this cycle till you see that your evaluations are, or in fact, your metrics are giving the required results. So as you're running your evaluations, you would adjust your hyperparameters, you would adjust your metric thresholds, and you would keep iterating till your results are in the acceptable range. So this is what becomes important here. And like, since we are talking about confident AI today as the framework for evaluation and observability, so just I would like to mention that confident AI is built on top of Deep Eval, which is an open source LLM evaluation framework. So basically it defines all the base libraries and the base metrics which is used by confident AI, and confident AI builds a framework on top of it to make it very much like user friendly, and like the use becomes much more easy, and like the interface is much more user friendly. So with Deep Eval, you have like a variety of metrics, as you can see on the right side. And depending on the use case, you could either select, so the top metrics, as you can see, like some of these would be more relevant to like a RAG kind of solution, where you're trying to say provide a context and get an answer. Or it could be just an input output kind of thing, where you just have given a role or a prompt to your model and you're expecting a response. or it could be like a conversational agent where you want to rate the entire conversation. So there are some metrics which are highlighted in blue here. So these are like relevant to a role, like a conversational kind of agent, which you can measure for their effectiveness of the role which they are trying to play. I'm sorry. So now, based on deep eval, confident AI ensures that you have a complete ecosystem to be able to define, uh, curate your data sets, run your benchmarks and experiments on the different implementations. So you can select your implementation, you can you can configure your models, you can provide your endpoints if you just want to directly test your endpoints. You could align your metrics, and then you will keep testing. You can do regression testing. You can set your thresholds and continuously improve your results. And then you can also provide feedback. So all these capabilities are provided in this framework. And through this, you can ensure that your agent, your autonomous agent, your LLM application is ready to go into production. So that's where you can ensure a predictable behavior and you can maximize the ROI of your agent. So moving on, like at Working Tree, we have been like actively involved in working on some of the autonomous agents. So we have worked on different use cases. And for this particular like webinar, I've picked up a in-house use case which we are like currently working on actively, and that is where, as part of these different developments, we were exploring different frameworks, and we came across Confident AI, as Alok mentioned in the beginning, and we felt that Confident AI is covering many aspects of how you would expect a like a evaluation to perform in the enterprise production environment. And that's where we started using it, and we saw the relevancy of the results. So from just to give a background of what this solution is, so that it will make more sense of what we are trying to evaluate. So basically, this is a financial advisory application where in the background we have agents working on different aspects of trying to derive different information using different tools, be it like using APIs to get details about a company, maybe like different performance indicators. It could be like active news about the company, so information about that. It could be details of the SEC filings, the SEC reports, the earning call transcripts. So basically any documents which the company publishes or announces, right? So uh, making a single interface to be able to make sense of all this information across, and then being able to interact with that. So that is the high level idea. Now there were two aspects to it, like being able to observe how each of the agents are performing and what is the like effectiveness of their behavior. And also, like when you're trying to say interact with knowledge base, where you're trying to build your knowledge base using your SEC filings or your transcripts, and then you're trying to answer questions based on that. So then you need to measure the effectiveness of how well your context got supplied to answer a specific question, or how well did your chunking algorithm really work. Like did it give the relevant context, or do you need to fine tune it, right? So these are different aspects which you would consider in order to take a solution and make it like enterprise grade. So that's where we made use of this solution. So I'll like give you a view of the application first to give an idea of what we are trying to do in Alpha Tree. So as you can see, like so here I log in, and then I have this interface to be able to say search for a specific stock Now at the background, like we have agents, different agents trying to gather different information, right? Now you can see that we have like 3 different types of information here. On the first slide, we collect the different data, like document related information. That's why we have the SEC filings data and the transcript data. Now, instead of like dumping the entire transcript, what we do is we try to extract the like the key elements or the key points from the transcript, so that we are able to say help the user understand it in a brief way. So that is one idea. And then we also have a chat feature where we try to ask questions to this knowledge base and try to extract the information from these documents. The second aspect is like where we try to say extract information about the different financial figures of the company. So this is based on like the different like projected metrics as well as the past metrics. So again, this is a different set of agents which is getting this information. And then you have other capabilities, like you can add a note and then um, be able to search on the note. And then this is like getting all the generic information. So again, you have the agent making use of tools and fetching this different indicators and the company profile. So basically, it's like consolidating all the information and putting it at one place so that it becomes easy for the user to just talk to this data and get the information. So for that, we have this chatbot. So now that you see that this is the like data which we are trying to interact with. Now, maybe I'll, so yeah, so for example, this will just give you summary of who were the analysts which were actively participating in the transcript, right? Or what was the kind of sentiment which was going across. So like we internally, what we do is we try to extract this information using different intelligent questions which extract this knowledge and then consolidate and present it here. Now you can understand that here the effectiveness of the way we try to structure the RAG and get the answers becomes a key, so that you're like able to get the right information and the right context, right? So that's where the evaluation becomes important, and observability is anyways important, because you need to be able to see how your each of your agent is performing, right? So I'll show some of the like evaluations which we have performed on this. So this is the interface of Confident AI, where it provides like a dashboard. It gives you the capability to um, yeah, it gives you the capability to say visualize the different parameters. So there are a number of metrics, and you would pick and choose whichever metrics is relevant for you. So in this case, we decided to say use answer relevance, faithfulness, contextual precision, and contextual recall. Where if like each of these metrics has some specific meaning. So for example, when we talk about contextual precision, so precision is actually like it would tell like how the re-ranker has performed, and has it been able to say give us the most highly ranked chunks, right? And has the answer come from the most relevant chunks. So that is one aspect. Now if we say contextual recall, so it will tell like, are the statements which are present in the answer, are they relevant to the question, and are they relevant to the context? So the relevancy is uh, compared with the contextual chunk. So now depending on the metrics also, the other aspect is like when you're trying to evaluate or when you're trying to run these test cases, you would provide what was the input you gave to the model, what was the output the model gave you, and additionally, if it is something related to the context, then you would have to provide the context also. Now, there's another aspect to it. Now, there are some metrics which actually help you, say, measure against a ground truth. Now, ground truth is something like where if you have an already expected output. Now, in some cases, it is very difficult to actually have the expected output. Now, if it is like a normal chatbot, you can still say manually enact or maybe use some past transcripts and generate that data. Now, if it is a peculiar case where you actually do not have that flexibility, and also your how much can you do manually, like the volume of test data which you can create can become a challenge. So that is another feature which Confident AI provides, where you can actually manufacture synthetic data sets. So there's a synthesizer which helps you create data sets. So here you can actually like generate questions. So you would, so how this works is you give your relevant text. Now, in this case, it could be the transcripts file, it could be the SEC filing document against whichever you're trying to test, right? And then you would generate, this synthesizer will help you generate a set of questions with the expected output. So this will, so here it's a small data set which I have generated. So you can see like it has, so the LLM generates this synthetic data set, and this becomes the expected output becomes your ground truth. Now, this also adds another element of evaluation which you can conduct, and the flexibility it gives you because of the variability which you can cover, which may be restricted if you are doing it manually. So this brings in that extra flavor of you can say having more range of testing which you can do if you have some ground truth, and it covers more range of metrics also. So using this, you can actually curate your data sets, and then you can run your evaluation against the data set, which will actually like help you measure. So now this evaluation summary gives you like how the results have performed. Now the result would be based on the different metrics which you selected for the evaluation. So in this case, you can see that we have selected answer relevancy, faithfulness, contextual precision, and contextual recall. So it will give you a view of how, like uh, in this case, like it's a set of 10 test cases which we ran. That was the data set which you saw, right? And we run against the model, and then we try to measure against these different metrics. So it gives the range of like how many answers were in this range, like for how many test cases it was a 6, right? So it was, sorry, for how for 6 test cases it was in the range of 0.9 to 1, right? So that gives you a view. And then additionally you can use hyperparameters also. So basically hyperparameters helps you log the constant parts, like which prompt template you used, which model you used, what was the chunk size. Those things you can log here, and then you can compare and see like how different values of the hyperparameter like impacted your results. So that is one aspect of it. And then if you go into the details of the evaluation, so if you see this, you can see like this is a past one. So it actually gives you, so here you can see the expected output which we generated in the data set, and this is the actual output. So it has a reference to compare to, and then based on that, it is giving like a result. And then based on the threshold which we have set, so here it has given a good score like 1 and 0.8. And for each of the metrics, we have like a threshold also. So based on the threshold, it will decide whether it is a pass or a fail. Then you can go into details. So it gives you a view of why exactly. So you can see it. You can also see the like a detailed logs. Otherwise, it gives you like a very precise reason of why it passed or why it failed. So here you can say that there were no contradictions found. or because the relevant nodes are generally well placed, and like there were like no deviations, right? So maybe we can look at one of the failed test cases to get an idea of how the failed ones are reasoned. We'll go back to evaluation. So this is one of the failed ones. So if I go into the details, see, you can see that one of the metrics has failed because this was below the threshold. Now this is like totally configurable. If I feel that for this use case, maybe I can raise the threshold because that is acceptable. So that can be done and then it will pass, right? So here you can see the model will give you the relevance of why this was like a fail, right? And it gives the explanation. So that's how we can give the complete, we can get a complete view of how the evaluation performed, what were the metrics used, and all that. Also, we have this observatory where you can actually, so this part comes into play where you can actually log your agent behavior real time, and you can do it asynchronously without blocking the flow of your application. But then you can, so it like it keeps logging, and then you can see the response here. So here you can see like, okay, this, so maybe yeah, this is one of the nodes or agents which we use to finally aggregate the recommendation. So basically, the stock analyzer or the alpha tree would compare the different inputs which are coming in for that symbol, and then give a recommendation and give a score. So here you can visualize like what was the input which went into the model, and what was the response, and what was the explanation. And additionally, like you can set some kind of say monitors or filters to monitor, like if the score is not as per your expectation, maybe flag it, or maybe send a mail to a admin to take the action. So those kind of extensions could be added based on the need of the enterprise. So this would help you to say monitor online. Additionally, like there is an element of feedback also, where you can actually go into the say, in fact here only you can go into the specific say interaction, and then you can add your feedback. So sorry. So you can leave feedback here. So this would actually, like as an admin, if you're reviewing, and you can leave the feedback, so that overall then you can have a view of how well your app, like model or agent is performing, and then you can like take necessary actions. And additionally, you can add some automated behavior of improvement also as your application evolves, because the LLM applications, they build and improve over time. So that is where this whole ecosystem becomes important to help it make production ready, right? So yeah, there are other things also, like where you have the concept of guardrails and red teaming, where you can control the security, where you can control the bias and toxicity of what is coming into your application or what is going out. Right? So all these aspects are covered in this framework, and it helps you like make your like get a view of how your application is performing, and then take the necessary actions to improve its performance. With every you can say improvement, it becomes more and more production ready. So with that, like I would like to conclude the plan for today, and maybe we can take over for questions. So yeah, over to you, Alok.
Yep. So Hey, thank you so much, Abhilasha. Thank you, Scott. We do not have a lot of questions. Guys, if you have any question, please do put these questions here. But I have one question, Abhilasha, while I'm waiting for more questions to come. Uh, in addition to evaluation and observability, I see that this platform is also being used for regression testing. I also saw that there is a testing section there. So how does it work? I mean, do they provide you the ability to create test suites and then run those test suites, or how does it work? Any idea?
Right, yeah. So basically, you as the combination of synthetic data set generation is one thing which like helps you create more number of test cases, and then it actually works on PyTest, which has this regression test capability on its own. So deep eval and confident AI make use of that as the base, and then it is able to like uh, perform the regression test for your specific use case. Sorry, what was the other question? So regression test
Yeah, I was
and
saying that does it provide the regression test suite kind of thing which you can run and then because expectation from regression test suite will be that whenever you are making any changes, then it will go and evaluate the overall say capabilities of your application, or any if your changes have any impact, it will be able to identify. Does it allow something like that?
in yeah in some aspects yes, because you're able to say rerun your entire you can create your test suite, right? And then you can rerun the whole thing, and then it also allows you to compare your different test runs and see how your metrics are improving or not improving, monitor those. So that capability is there in the system. Also, like if you would like to run the regression test with a different set of hyperparameters, a different model, so you can actually do that.
Got you.
Additionally, like maybe if you are say creating a test, so it's possible that you have like a test scenario from production, right? Which you can save as a data set and then try to simulate that in this environment. So you can actually do a simulation run also.
And suppose if we have two different models that we want to try out, uh, so whether the Anthropic is performing better or say OpenAI model is performing better, I mean, how something like this can help there?
Right. So basically, there are two aspects to it. When you're testing confident AI, you can do it through the UI, or you can do it using the code, like the deep eval, and through code only. You can actually connect to confident AI, and it gets logged. Right. So now, at both places, you have the capability to set the model which you are using. So it could be through confident AI interface. You can set the model. It can be OpenAI model, or it can be any other Anthropic, or it can be like a say a Mistral or a DeepSeek model, and then you can use it. Or if you're doing it in your Python code, you can set it there as well. So
Got you.
that flexibility is available in the framework.
Fantastic. Okay, that's all I had. I don't see any more questions, so I think we're good. I think before we wrap up, if you can go to the slideshow, Abhilasha, you were sharing your screen. Uh, we have a next webinar coming up, which is about drone pilot training. And yeah, can you keep moving? Yep, stay here. So guys, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are very excited about the simulation service that we are providing, and as part of that, drone is of course one of the robots that we definitely train using our simulation services in partnership with one of our partner called Scaled Foundation, which has a platform called Grid. We actually train autonomous drones for very specialized operations. And as part of that, you can imagine that we build those specialized environments and then train drones in those environments. So as part of this webinar, we will be kind of touching base upon different, say, OEMs and drone options that we can make it configurable. Of course, like when you are building drones and training drones, you need high fidelity and lag-free simulation. Unreal Engine provides all of them. So all these things we'll be discussing in the next webinar. So if this is one area where you want to see how AI gets married to synthetic data using gaming engine and how it gets combined with maybe sensors, etc., I think this could be a pretty interesting session for some of you. So I'm definitely inviting you to join us for this webinar. And until then, thank you so much for your time and looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.